People who wear masks are driven by trauma. They're obsessed with justice because of some injustice they suffered.
Let me tell y'all something. If you ain't checked out The Watchmen, the HBO series that just started, as HBO has been looking for something to fill that void of Game of Thrones, you guys are missing out. This Watchmen series is for real, it's good. They've got a huge emphasis on minorities, strong woman lead, great plot, and I'm gonna try my best to review it for all of you who are not comic book fans. I haven't really read the story of The Watchmen either, but the series is so good you don't have to be a comic book fan to enjoy it. If you're finding me for the first time, please subscribe to the channel. Turn on the notifications so when I drop videos, you get them. This is gonna be kind of a spoiler review, so if you don't like spoilers, you might wanna fast forward, but if you are the type of person who has a hard time starting a new TV series, this might help you because I'm telling you guys, you've gotta see this. So let's just start out from the beginning. It stars Don Johnson. Y'all might remember him from Miami Vice, Crockett and Tubbs. It's got Lou Gossett Jr. It's got Regina King, who is a lead in this movie. She plays Sister Night, and she is a pure badass. It has Jeremy Irons in it. Some of you guys that remember Batman versus Superman, he was playing Alfred in that series. And this is a sequel to the comic books. This is not picking up from the movie. This is to the comic books. And they start out in the very beginning with something that actually happened in history. In 1921, they had riots in Tulsa because the city was predominantly owned and ran by black people, and the Anglo-Saxons wasn't feeling that, so they went and destroyed them. And during that scene, you see a 5-year-old Louis Gossett Jr., who his parents put him in a wagon, they send the wagon away, and as he's going through, they're shooting at this wagon, bullets coming through the wagon, and next thing you know, he looks through a hole and see his parents' shop get blown up with a bomb because the Anglos was really after this city. And this happened, ladies and gentlemen, and they tied this into the story. And then they fast forward to present day. Louis Gossett falls on a road back in the old days, picks up a baby, and he goes forward during 1921. Then they fast forward to that same road, and on that road is the first time we get to see the Seventh Kalvary, which is basically their version of the KKK. And the Seventh Kalvary guy's driving the truck, he gets stopped by a police officer from Tulsa who's black, and you know, that police officer realizes something is up with this guy's car. You know, he's up to no good. So he asks him for his ID, the guy throws a little joke at him, the cop goes back to his car, and during this era, all cars are electric. This is a technology that Dr. Manhattan has put in place. If you know the comics, y'all know who I'm talking about. And when he goes back to his car, one twist that they have, you can't have your gun unless you call it in to the facility to get a release on your weapon. And so this cop is trying to get his weapon, and while he's trying to get his weapon, the Seventh Kalvary dude just sprays the hell out of him and kills him. That's your opening scene, ladies and gentlemen. That is your opening scene. So it's gonna grab you from jump. And as you go forward, they introduce you to Regina King's character, who is Sister Night. She is basically, she's pretending like she has a bakery, but it's really that she's an undercover cop in essence. And basically they take the story in a direction where people are trying to stomp out racism, they're trying to stomp out police brutality, and you have cops versus this Seventh Kalvary who has now come back to try to terrorize people. And they have these weird quirks, like for instance, there is this big alarm that you would normally hear if someone's about to drop an atomic bomb. And what that alarm is for is basically, it's getting ready to rain down squids. And that is a comic book reference to a trans-dimensional attack that happened in the comic book series that you guys who read the comics, you'll understand how that correlates. But it's very weird to see squids raining down on the screen. And as they go forth, you'll learn that Don Johnson, he's the head of this police force. And in the beginning, you're trying to figure out, is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? But the relationship he has with Regina King's character kind of lulls you into believing he's really on the side of good. And then as we fast forward to the end, they have a big battle scene, which is going to remind a lot of you guys of Game of Thrones. They have a big battle scene. Regina King is leading up the cops versus the Seventh Kalvary, and they're at a cattle ranch. And when the Seventh Kalvary realizes that Regina King and her crew is moving through those fields with the cattle, man, they go get this monstrous gun and they are spraying everybody. I mean, laying Negroes out. And they're killing the cattle, they're shooting up everybody. And in the beginning, the Seventh Kalvary member that killed a cop that couldn't get to his gun, he's there, and that's who they're going to try to get. And they eventually are able to cut through all the shooting. You guys just got to see this battle scene. And when they get in there to try to get them, what the Seventh Kalvary was doing, they were stealing the batteries out of watches. Now these guys reference watches, they reference watches almost like a doomsday type thing, which is like the end of the world, we're about to drop a bomb. But they never tell you what the plan is for why these guys are stealing the batteries. And while they're shooting at the cops, you've got two of them who managed to get away with the batteries, get into an airplane that they didn't know about, and take off. Now eventually Regina King is able to get the guy that was shooting with the gun, but you got these two guys in the air, in the airplane. And Don Knotts is in there with one of his cop friends, and they're riding in what comic book people will know was the Owl. And they eventually take down the airplane and blow it up, and then we're thinking the day is saved, everything's coming to an end. And then they drop on us Jeremy Irons, who's Ozymandias. And the thing with him is you don't know whether he's good or bad, but it seems like they're highlighting that he could possibly be an evil character. But in the comics, he wasn't good or bad. He just wanted to control people with violence. He gives some weird stuff. You see him naked, sitting there typing on his damn typewriter. But it's interesting. The whole thing is interesting. And at the very end, that little 5-year-old Lou Gossett Jr. is now an old man, because you remember he was 5 in like 1921, and this present day now. And you see him call Regina King as she is in there giving them panty draws up. For those of you that love to see sex scenes, yeah, HBO gonna put a sex scene in there, and Regina King is in there giving it up. And basically, he tells her, you need to come without your mask to a certain place, and she comes there and she finds her partner, Don Johnson, the captain of the police force, hung up, and in essence, Lou Gossett pretending like he did it, and she is just devastated, and that's how they end this first episode. So if you guys haven't gotten stoked by me giving this excitement of how good this thing is gonna be, this is gonna be HBO's next great series, and I am thinking about doing a video on this each and every week, just based on how you guys respond to the video. So please share it if you like it, and please go ahead and comment on it if you know more about the comic book series than I do, because I'm a newbie to this particular comic. But this show looks great, and I'm going to try to keep on reviewing it, and I encourage all you guys to give this one a try. That's going to do it for this video. Don't forget to like my video. Please comment, subscribe, go get yourself that life game. Please check out Watchmen the series. Regina King is knocking this one out the park. It has an outstanding soundtrack, and you guys will really like this show if you give it a try, and it'll suck you in within the first 5 minutes. And until the next sexy as hell video, I'll see you.